Hi and welcome. Hopefully this finds you well on your Monday morning. Hopefully this is a good start to your week. We are today doing a presentation on Mozaïk-Portal, most notably the communication aspect of Mozaïk-Portal. That's what we're going to do today, so hopefully you came for that. We do have quite a few participants here. Of course, you should feel free to ask questions in the Q&R section of the Teams live event. Ask these questions at any time. We will not be answering them, as you ask them. We will be answering them at predetermined spots in the presentation. So make sure you do ask those questions, and we'll be happy to answer them, provided, of course, that we do have the time that it fits the scope of this morning's presentation. Speaking of which, we're going to switch to my screen here. So I have the PowerPoint here that I'm going to go through for a few minutes, for a couple of minutes tops, and then we're going to go into Mozaïk-Portal directly. So today we're going the communication aspect of Mozaïk-Portal. My name is Hubert Trottier-Lapointe. I'm with my colleague Diane Brien. We're here to, and the objective of today's presentation, if the PowerPoint works, thank you very much, is simply to help you, to support you in your educational efforts. So how can Mozaïk-Portal be used to support your educational efforts? How can you use Mozaïk-Portal to work, especially in this environment, probably from home to students that are home, to their parents as well. So how can you use Mozaïk-Portal in that whole situation? As a quick reminder, we have here on the screen, we have workshop and forum schedule. We had some last week. Probably should have crossed them out, but I'll probably do that after this presentation, since I didn't really think to do it before. But you see here on the 27th today, Monday the 27th, we have a communication workshop right now. We have a resources workshop at 2 p.m. and we have a planning workshop at 10 a.m. So following this presentation, we have a hard stop at 9:50, right? 10 minutes before 10, because we do have another presentation here, and I'm sure some of you would like to participate there. Otherwise, if you ask any questions that we don't have the time to answer today, we're going to be doing a quick forum tomorrow on every one of these subjects, so communication, resources, and planning. So at 9 a.m. for communication, 10 a.m. for planning, and then 2 p.m. for the resources. So make sure you do connect for that. If you ask a question today and we did not have the time to answer it, or it didn't fit the scope, then perhaps we will have time tomorrow instead. Of course, if you need any more details, you can visit this link right here, which I am going to copy as an announcement in the Q&R section of the Teams live event. So I'm just going to copy this right now and then send it as an announcement. Hopefully it works properly. Looks like it does. So feel free to click on that link should you need to. Back to our presentation. On the agenda today, we're going to see how to access Mozaïk-Portal. Not necessarily everyone knows how to do that, so we're going to do that very quickly. After that, we're talking about both emails and publications. And emails can be sent to students and or parents, but we have that list of things we're going to see, including the attachments, the limitations of the emails, what to know regarding that, and of course publications, both for students and parents, and the publication history. So that's the plan for today. How to access Mozaïk-Portal very quickly, wherever you might be, actually in the world, I was going to say in Quebec, but wherever in the world you want to access your portal, it's that same email address all the time, mozaicportal.ca. You can add an I here if you want the French version, but you can switch languages at any time. So mozaicportal.ca is the website. Once you get there, you use your school organization email address. Make sure you do use that school organization email address. That's how we know what access to give you. And actually, when I say we, I do mean the information you can display and access on Mozaïk-Portal is heavily based on what administration has on file for you. So of course, if you do connect with your school email address or school organization email address, and you don't see either your schedule or your groups or something is missing, you should probably go talk to the administration, so either the secretary or whoever is responsible for Mozaïk-Portal at your organization. So long story short, mozaicportal.ca, and if there's anything wrong, you can of course go to either your school or school organization for help. And let's take a closer look. All right, I'm currently in the Mozaïk-Portal for Teachers, right? Mozaïk-Portal for Teachers. Once again, as I said, you can switch languages very quickly here, from French to English and from English to French. Just a quick note, while it is possible for you to translate or to use another language for the website, it's not going to actually translate. For example, if you wrote a post, you wrote it in French or wrote it in English, then it's not going to be translated. So it's only the language of the website that changes, much like Facebook or Microsoft or something else. Onto the subject at hand. We are here to discuss about communication and how it can be done through Mozaïk-Portal. You have two main ways to communicate with your students and their parents, and the two main ways are right here, right on your homepage. We have send an email and post on the portal, both of which are located in the My Groups section. So send an email and post on the portal. Before we even go any further on the difference between those two, I would just like to let you know that if you want to send a communication to all of your groups, so there's a way to manage your recipients fairly easily. If you want to send an email to all of your groups, you can see here I have 4 groups and even a 5th one here. If I click on the send an email right here, you're going to see the list of recipients. You can forget this text right here for now. The list of recipients is all 5 of my groups. Of course, if I want to, I can change it in the list of students. Right, I can either remove all of the group or add a group or remove some of the students, add some of the students, and I confirm the selection. I'm going to remove that. And then you can see, of course, it has modified. I have a selection from group 302. So very easy to manage the list of students. But if you were looking to send a message to either a specific group or a specific student, instead of clicking here directly, which you can still do, by the way, but instead of doing that, I find it a bit faster to first click on the group you want to send an email to. And then you're going to notice that I have these icons right here. So I have the email icon and then the post icon. And this is for the OIM, which we're not going to talk about today. So the email, if I click here, email, you're going to see that in the list of recipients, I'm in currently my group 30805. Then only the group 30805 is selected. So that's a quicker way to do so. So recipients, both for email and for the portal, if you click on your homepage, you're going to have all of your groups. But if you go in the group first, then it's going to be only that group. And if you want to go even further, I'm going to show that very quickly, even though, once again, you might want to go just through send an email. But if I search for a student first, and I go in the student profile, I have this email icon right here. I'm sure you could guess that when I click on that icon, only that student is selected. So the first tip and trick for today is that, of course, you can always click here on the home page. If I go back to the home page, and either send an email or post on the portal. But also, if you want to manage your recipients more effectively, if you want to send to a single student, then search the student first. It's going to be easier. If you want to send it to your groups, all of your groups on the home page. If you want to send to a single group, then go in the group first, right? So that's just a tip and trick. So the recipients, this way of working is actually it works both for the emails and the posts. Of course, some of you might be wondering what the difference is, and that's what we're going to see right now. Once again, just a quick reminder, feel free to ask questions should you need to. I'll be very happy to answer them. I see that we don't have any questions at this time. All right, so first things first, the email. You probably already know what an email is, but we're just going to see what it does within Mozaïk-Portal. So I connect with my school organization email address, and I have the send an email option. When I click on that, once again, you can manage your recipients effectively, so really easy to do so. This information here is just to tell you that if you send an email, you can see here I'm going to send an email to multiple groups. I have the choice to send it either to the students, just going to remove that, students or parents or both. You can see here I have students, yes, no, parents, yes, no. This is fairly annoying. I'm actually just going to remove that real quick. There we go. All right, so I can either have parents, yes, no, students, yes, no. It's really that easy. So for these two groups, both the students and the parents will receive an email in this specific case. By the way, if you were wondering what that error message was, the one that I just closed, I'm going to put it back on the screen. It's just to let you know that this specific student, so if you ever have this yellow icon at the top, it lets you know that some of your students, their parents or those students specifically, they do not have a valid email address. So this information that this student doesn't work should probably be forwarded to your administration. So to the secretary, for example. I'm not quite sure the secretary is the correct term here, but hopefully you do understand that this is not for you to correct. There is no way for you to correct that information. If you see that error message, just take note of it and send it to administration. They will be able to fix it for you. So there you go. This one. Okay. This information right here was to let you know that I didn't actually finish my idea that even though here I'm sending emails to a lot of people, so this is the whole group, both students and their parents, so that's at least 50 emails, at least. It could be, of course, a lot more depending on the size of your class. It could be up to 80 or 90 or even more. The parents and their students, they're not going to see the email addresses of the other people. You don't have to worry about that. They're only going to see their own email address and then your own. They're not going to see their friend's email address or their worst enemy's email address. It's of course meant to be safe, and there's a word here that I'm forgetting, but basically you're not going to see other people's information. All right. CC and VCC, same thing as an email. CC meaning that anyone you add here, everyone will be able to see that they will get a copy. This is carbon copy. They will get a copy. So for example, I want people to see that the principal is getting a copy. Then everyone here can see that the principal got a copy, and everyone can also see the principal's email. So you do have to be careful regarding that in the CC. In the BCC, if you want to let your principal know about its situation, but you don't want the people to know that either A, receive the email, or B, know the email address of that principal, you can always add that person in BCC, blind carbon copy, and then by adding that person here, that person will still receive that email, but the other people will not be warned, or they will not be able to see that email address. So that's the way you do it. I do see that we have questions, but I'm just going to finish that very quickly. In the subject, of course, you write your subject. This is the same thing as a regular email. You can write the body of your email as well. Same thing as a regular email. You can attach attachments. Same thing as a regular email. There is something to note here regarding the attachments. Regarding the attachments, you can have pretty much a limited number of attachments, but there is a size limit, which is 34 megabytes. If you know what that is, and I don't need to explain it any further. If you don't know what 34 megabytes is, essentially you can attach any PDF, any PowerPoint, anything, any document will work, any Word document, any PDF will work. But if I try to attach one of these videos are some of the largest files that you can have on your computer, so videos are probably not going to work. So if I filled my students and I want to send that video, I probably have to go through resources. So basically, quick reminder, we do have a resources workshop this very afternoon. So at 2 p.m. we have a resources workshop. So if you want to share videos, make sure to be back at 2 p.m. But otherwise, if you want to send a PDF or a PowerPoint or a document, then the attachment here is probably going to work. That's a long story short. So attachment, there is a size limit. But if it's work-related document, in all likelihood, it is going to go through. So you don't have to worry about that. Modify signature. If I want the people to know who I am, of course, my name is Hubert. I could add something else. I could probably just go in bold, italic, whatever. I could also add a link if I want to. Then I confirm, and you can see the signature is added automatically to my email. So that's pretty standard as far as emails go. And the last thing here is I can request a read receipt. It's possible for me to do so, but there is a warning here that it's not necessarily all email applications that manage the read receipt, which means that we are going to send that request, but some of the email applications or email addresses that some of the parents use or the students, whatever, they might not be able to to answer that request. So you can ask for a read receipt, you can request it, but it's not necessarily a guarantee that everyone will be able to notify you that they did indeed read it. So that's the email in a nutshell. Basically, I wanted to show you all of these functionalities within something that you already knew, right? Emails you probably already know, so now you know that you can adjust your recipients very easily, add some of your coworkers, either students and or parents. Really, that's up to you. And then signature, attachments, and read receipts, all available within Mozaïk-Portal, right? So all available. I'm going to look at the questions right now. Actually, I just want to make sure, Diane, if you're here, I could probably use your voice. Are there any questions at this time?
Yes, there are some questions, but Hubert, I think you're going to have to read them yourself because my screen just went blank. So while I fix the problem, maybe you can read the first few questions.
Absolutely, I will do so. All right, I'll leave without sending. So the first question that I have here is, can you retrieve messages that have been sent by you to parents or students? Right, so I'll answer that question first, and I'll look at the other questions afterwards. This was actually the next step in our logical order of things. First, we went here to send an email. So in the My Group section, I can send an email very easily. I can just, we just did that together. If I want to look at either the emails that I sent, I want to look at the history, or I want to look at the answers from the students and their parents, the way that I'm going to do so is I'm going to have to go in my Outlook, because that's not something that I mentioned thus far, but the email here, while it is in Mozaïk-Portal, the actual engine that makes it run is Outlook, right? So the engine underneath that page is Outlook. When I click send, Outlook sends it, which means that if I want to go look at my answers, or if I want to look at my sent in or my outbox, then I do have to go in Office 365. So I can either open a new tab, write office.com, or you can go whatever way you usually go to get your Outlook emails. In my case, office.com is the easiest for me. So OFFICE, office.com. Once I do that, you'll notice that I don't even have to re-enter my email and password. Mozaïk-Portal and Office, they do have that sort of connection. So when I'm connected to Mozaïk-Portal, I am connected to Office and vice versa already. So that's really great. And when I go in my Outlook here, so I have multiple tabs here, make sure to keep track of that. So I have Mozaïk-Portal, Office, I'm going to close that one actually. Make sure you close the tabs you don't need. This one I don't need, this one I don't need, I don't need. All right, so I have only these two. I have Mozaïk-Portal and then my email. I could actually send an email right now. I didn't do it, but you'll be able to see. So send an email, sure, all the recipients. It does have to have a subject. Let's go for actually the 27th April 09:19 a.m. And we'll send that email right now. So this little message here, so message has been sent. I have a confirmation at the bottom of my screen. The notification is quite quick, however, so you do have to notice it. Hopefully you did have the time to do that. And the emails, you probably even heard that little that bell notifying me that that message has been sent. Of course, in this case, because this is a demo account, there's a lot of errors because these email addresses, they don't really exist. But in your case, you shouldn't have an error message. You're going to see your answers here. And if you want to, you have your sent, your outbox that you can click and look at all of the messages that you sent as well. So really, that's how you do. If you want to look at your answers, then you do have to go through Office. I'm going to do that. We do have more questions. All right. The next question is, using Mozaïk, can I access a list of... I have something flashing on my screen, it's disturbing me. But using Mozaïk, can I access a list of all the emails of students in the class? I ask because I would like to be able to mass copy paste email accounts and then give the students access to PowerPoint or Google Meet. Right, so there is no way to access a list of all the emails or students in the class regarding that specific question. So if you want to share here the need that I see is to give select students access to a PowerPoint or Google Meet or anything else. If you want to send them a message, then you're going to really have to go through the send an email option. And of course, in the email, if you really need to, you can copy paste a link here or any information that you need. But regarding sharing a PowerPoint, sharing a file or folder, the way that I suggest you do is using OneDrive, using Office 365 or Google Drive if you want to, or Dropbox if you want to. But basically, you're going to put it on the cloud and then share that link with people. If you don't know how to do that, we're going to see that fairly quickly. We're going to see that this afternoon at 2 p.m. in the resources workshop. So be sure to be there for that. But it does go above the scope of what we want to do this morning. So we're going to have to stop right here. The size limit of attachments I was asked to repeat. So the size limit of attachments is 34 megabytes. 34 megabytes. Once again, if you do know what that is, then you have a good idea. If you're unfamiliar and you don't know what 34 megabytes is, once again, most of your PDF, PowerPoints, documents, they should work, provided they're not filled with images and videos and stuff like that. But otherwise, they should work. And of course, if you want to send a video of your class that you filmed for 15 minutes in HD resolution, then it's not going to work. So, all right, we do have a couple more questions here. Modify signature. Yes, so I didn't actually show it, but thank you for the question. There is a question regarding the signature. As you might notice here, the button is now called Modify Signature because I already have one. If I want to delete it, I can just erase it and confirm. And this button right here is actually, it's still Modify Signature, but if you've never used that button, it's going to be called Add a Signature, I believe, and afterwards it's going to be Modify. So if you want to remove it, just erase everything and save. Otherwise, you can add whatever you want. All right, we are going to keep looking at those questions. Is it possible to select one group at a time? Yes, it is. The way to do so is here from the home page. I actually went and sent an email, and you can see the recipients. As I said, if you go from the home page, you have all of these groups. Of course, you can just click the small X to remove them. If you also want, you can go in list of students, either add or remove a group, add or remove students. Very easy to do so. So you can do so that way. But if you want to send an email to a specific group, what I would say is the simplest way is to first go into whichever group you want to send that email to. So let's say 30805. And from here, click that email button. And then you're going to see the recipients by default is only that group. So from the home page, you can manage. There's no reason not to, but it might be a bit quicker to first go into your group. I'm just going to make sure I have answered all of the questions. We do have a couple more. Is it possible to select one group at a time to send the messages? Right, so I think we just went over that. I'm not going to repeat that same answer, but if the answer was unclear, then of course, feel free to let me know. Do replies go to our email addresses in Outlook or NP? It does go into Outlook. So there is no way currently to be within the Mozaïk-Portal homepage or anywhere within Mozaïk-Portal and actually look at the answers or to look at your outbox. There is no way for you to do so. You really do have to go through Outlook. So to send an email, it's very practical to do so through Mozaïk-Portal because you already have all of your groups and everything at the same place. But if you want to look at the answers, it has to go through Outlook. Size limit of attachments. Can we use this to send emails to colleagues and admin? Yes, you can do that. So one of the things that we tested, actually, I think last week when we did that exact same workshop, is if you really want to send an email just to colleagues, you can, of course, you could remove all of these different groups here and then add all of your colleagues that you want. At this time, it would not let me send anything because I don't have any recipient here in the to field. So it says needs at least one recipient. But what you can do is just add a random recipient or yourself. So let's say I'm going to do that. I have my own email address here. I'm going to copy that. Now it's here. So then I'm going to send that email to these colleagues, and I'm going to have my own copy. So that's really great. And then if I click send, Actually, I'm going to add a subject, right? So 27 and then 0925 because it's 9:25 a.m. and then send. Message has been sent here. As you can see, fairly quick on the bottom right corner, it does tell me that it's been sent. If I want to see the answers, then I'm going to have to go in my Office 365 or just on my Outlook directly. If you have the application, that's good as well. But I'm going to go in my Outlook, close the tabs that I don't need. And in my Outlook, I have here this message. Once again, we do have error messages simply because these other email addresses, they don't exist. This is a demo account with fake email addresses, but in your case, you'll be able to see that email right here and also see that email in your outbox. So yes, you can send it. You can use this to send emails to colleagues and admin. Is it possible to schedule a message to be sent later? Not at this time. So if you want to do that, there is a way to do that within Outlook directly, if I'm not mistaken. So you can still do that from your Outlook. Once again, this is the same email address as this one. So the parents are not going to be able to see that difference. The only thing that you need to really make sure is, well, not make sure, but one thing that is actually quite convenient is if you're connected to Mozaïk-Portal with your email address, once you go in that office, either by clicking that link here or by going to office.com, you're already connected, so that's really convenient. What does the message look like for recipients when you post on a portal versus when you send an email? It's going to be very, very similar. In both cases, they're an email. There might be some differences, including, for example, here you can see that the signature is the one that I put only on Mozaïk-Portal. If I had a different signature on Outlook, then they're going to know. They're going to know because the signature is going to differ whether you send it from Outlook or from Mozaïk-Portal. But otherwise, it's an email. So if the content of the email is similar, whether you send it from Mozaïk-Portal or Outlook, then they're not going to know. There is no way for them to know really. So there you go. Regarding that question that was, I have another question right now. How do you set up an email to be sent later in Outlook? Unfortunately, that really does go above the scope of what we're trying to do today. If I have the time, I'm going to see if I can find you a resource maybe later, maybe send it to you in the answers. Actually, I do encourage you to that question to connect back tomorrow. So if you're here back tomorrow at 9 a.m., I'll be sure to send you links, information regarding that. But even tomorrow morning, there was no realistic way for me to show you that, to do a live demo. Maybe, if there is 1 or 2 participants or, less than a dozen participants, then we might be able to do a demo, but otherwise I'll at least find you a link and then, that's going to be done. So you'll have a link to read through. All right. So that covers most of the questions, or actually all of the questions that we had so far. If you have any more, of course, be sure to let me know. So we just looked at the email, and actually it's a pretty complete view of the email. So you want to send an email, very convenient to do so from Mozaïk-Portal, but after the email has been sent, to do all the follow-up, to read the answers, or to just look at your history of what emails you sent, everything to manage those emails is going to be in Outlook directly. So that's actually very good to know. And also, just a quick note, on the emails, when you send an email from Mozaïk-Portal, there is a limit of 500 email addresses for one send. So 500 email addresses. What does that mean? That means that if I have, for example, if I'm an art teacher and I have 10 groups of 30 students, that means 300 students, and then times 2, that's 600 parents, 900 email addresses total, then I'm going to have to split my groups and do 2 different emails. There is a limit of 500 email addresses, so if you do try to send an email, a mass email, and it's not working, then consider splitting your recipients and doing a copy paste. That's it. All right. Okay. Onto the post. So we don't have any new questions. I do have a thank you. Thank you for saying thank you. That's very much appreciated. We don't have any more questions at this time. We're going to go move on from the emails to the posts. So what are the posts? Posts, if you're using Facebook or Twitter or Instagram or anything of the sort, you probably already have a good idea of what a post is. Essentially, is something that you send other users, in your case that you're going to send the teachers, the students and their parents, and it's going to appear directly on their portal. So it's not an email, doesn't go through Outlook. This is really within Mozaïk-Portal. So if I want to do that, I just click post in the portal. Once again, I do have my list of students here, so I can choose any and all students that I need to, including removing a whole group, removing this whole group. And then, I could, of course, remove some students. That would be quite weird, but I could still do that if I want to. So you can see here, I have my whole group of 30806, my whole group of 30802, and then a selection from group 30805. Once again, it's a yes/no button for either student or parent portal. Very easy to use. So, of course, in this case, it's going to be both. In this case, just parents. And in this case, just students. Of course, if I try to do no on both, it's not going to work. So let's do yes on both for this test right now. We're the 27th of April. It is 0932. We're going to send a post right now because you're going to see that this post should appear within the next few seconds in the parent and student portal. Before we do that, I just want to show you these two different sections of the portal so that you have a good idea, and then you can see that, of course, the post is not there yet. So this is the student portal. Just refresh the page here for you. Student portal looks like this. I'm going to have a demo account for you later if you want to be able to visit that. But basically, I have my calendar, I have my little Smart weekly assignments, I have my different classes here, resources. I have a bunch of stuff. And the messages here, you can see they're front and center. So it's really hard to miss them. They're right here, right in my face. So kind of hard to miss them. And parent portal, it's going to be somewhat the same thing. When, as a parent, I connect for the first time, or actually every time that I connect, it's going to default me on that messages tile. So if you never saw the parents portal, it's divided into tiles. So I'm going to start in the messages tile. Once again, front and centers, we have the messages. Kind of hard to miss, to be honest. So if I send that email, that post, actually, it's not an email, it's a post. Post, you can see here, we have a maximum of 500 characters, not 500 words, 500 characters, mind you. So it's a fairly short message. I'm just going to send that message. When I have it, it's sent. If I want to look at the message, at the post that I did previously, you can go in the My Data section, view my posts. You can see here I have a couple of them. This one that I just did, it was sent on the parent portal, the student portal for all of these groups and these people. You can see here I can even remove this post from the portals, which I'm not going to use. I'm not going to do right now, of course. I want to show you first. And you can see some of them I have already removed. So this one I removed, this one I removed since I have the date here. So I have removed these two posts. It's really easy to do. You can remove your post if you want to, but there's no reason really to do it. And I'm going to show you why in a few seconds. So I'm going to go back to the parent portal. I'm going to do a refresh here. And you can see that this message, April 27th at 9:32 a.m., the one that we sent 2 minutes ago, or probably more 1 minute ago, is here. So it was really, so the parent connected. That's the first thing the parent saw. That is the first thing the parent saw. If I'm actually going to switch tile here, because I do want to show you something. So if I send another message, let's go for 0935. I do write the best messages. I'm well aware of that. So if I'm here in the absences style, you can see that I have that new messages that popped up. I have the number one that did pop up. So I know that I have a new message. So even if I leave my Mozaïk-Portal open as a parent and I just look at the absences all day, every day, I'm still going to be notified that I do have some other things to look at. So messages, Once I looked at the message, then the number 1 disappears. For the student, very, very similar. I'm just going to refresh here. So the student connects, they have their messages front and center, and you can see here I have actually these 2 messages. I did send 2 messages, so I have the 932 one and the 935 one. If I do notice that I made a mistake here, something happened, I either made a mistake or I want to remove that message, I can always remove that message. If I didn't make a mistake, then I'm probably going to do it anyway. But if you're worried about, you know, the student having maybe too many messages, you really should not worry about that. I mean, as you can see, we do have a lot of messages here. Same thing for the parent. We do have a lot of messages here. But the thing is that much like Facebook or Instagram or Twitter or these other services, realistically, people are only going to look at the first like 3 to 4 messages. Anything below that, you know, they're not going to go back and read everything every time. So you don't have to worry about removing these messages. You know, they're just going to stay there, and nobody's going to read it for the rest of the year. But they're just going to stay there. There is no reason for you to go back and remove them, unless, of course, you want to, which you can do. So let's do that right now. These 2 messages, you know, they're not exactly the best messages. There is, when I click remove this post, there's a message that tells me, do you really want to remove it? Do you want to remove it permanently? Then yes. And if I go back to the different sections of the portal, both students and parents, as you can see, the message has disappeared, and the messages here have disappeared as well. All right. So regarding the post, that's pretty much it. There is, however, something else to add to that. So because of the nature of the post, and because we don't have an application for Mozaïk-Portal yet, there is an application in the works for the parents section that is due. Hopefully I'm not mistaken here. Diane, if I'm saying something wrong, of course, correct me. But there is an application for the parents that is due, that is planned for this next fall. So for this for the next back to school for the 2020 September, there is an application planned. Is that correct, Diane?
Yes, it is.
Beautiful. So it is planned to be there. Of course, there might be some things that happen that, you know, for example, COVID-19, that does not allow to complete. But otherwise, there is that application that is planned, and in the future, there will be other applications for the other sections, students, or I say that, you know, affirmatively, but that's the plan. It is the plan. Once again, plans, they can change, and often they do change. So there you go. So posts, once again, because we don't have an application, that was the first idea. Because we don't have an application this time, it does require the students and their parents to actually connect on Mozaïk-Portal before they can see these messages. There are no bells on their cell phones that are going to ring, tell them that they have a new message. They do have to connect to make sure that there is no new message, which is why, of course, you should encourage the parents and the students to go once a week at the very least on their portal. And the way to encourage them is, of course, send frequent updates on Mozaïk-Portal, whether it's within the posts or within the resources or planning or anything else that you use. So there you go. Because there are no bells on their cell phones telling them there's a new post, at this time, posts should really be used in more of a PSA manner, or gentle PSA. So public service announcements. You just want to remind people that during this month of December, we have activities planned on the 12th and the 17th, for example. Or on this month of, next week, don't forget, we're going to a trip. We're having a trip. Don't forget to pack a cold lunch. Those are perfectly fine. You should be able to use those. But if you want to send an urgent message to a parent, then the email at this time is most probably the best idea, because they do consult their email, or hopefully they do. And at the very least, you know, they can receive that notification on their cell phone. So if you have any official urgent business, make sure it's an email. Posts are really more for lighthearted content, nothing time sensitive, and of course nothing that requires everyone to see it. It's just a heads up, heads up, we have this coming up. That's perfectly fine. All right. Diane, would you like to read the questions, or would you like me to read them?
No, I'm okay. Everything's set up.
Beautiful.
So, a few questions regarding attachments. So, is it possible to attach a file or a picture or send an attachment in a post?
Right, so attachments in a post, pictures, stuff of like, there is no way for you to do so at this time. So you can see I don't have the attachment option at the bottom. There is, of course, a way for me to paste a link here in the post, but I'm not quite sure what it would look like on the different. So let's go to office.com once again. That's the URL I want you to remember this morning, or one of the URLs. So office.com. If I try to paste it here, so I can paste it, I can set it in my post to my different students and their parents. I would like this to move, please. But otherwise, all right, thank you. So you can see here, I just sent that link on the portal, and the parent can still see that link, can copy, can paste, but otherwise there is no way to click that link at this time. So even if you have links to share, once again, we do have a resources workshop this afternoon. The best way to do so is with resources. Otherwise, it can be sent in an email. That's fine as well. But resources this afternoon, if you can be there, that will answer your questions more thoroughly than what I can do right now.
Okay, so next question, can you edit a post?
Right, that is a question that we do get often. Can you edit a post? Not in the sense that you're probably suggesting, meaning that I can't go and view my posts here and have this post and just edit that part. There is no way for me to do so. If I want to edit it, what I could do is always copy the text so that I don't lose it. Copy the text. Then I have to remove this post. And then by creating a new one, it can, of course, modify anything that I want to, either by removing something or by adding something else. It's always easy for me to do so. So there is no edit option, but it's easy to remove a post and then copy paste it. Copy and just modify whatever you want to modify and then send it back again. So no edits, but editing is still possible in a kind of in another way.
Next questions, not related to communication, but Vince had some problems with internet. So he's asking if it's possible to have another session, or is it possible to view that session again?
Right. Thank you for the question. I do also see that you answered already, but
yes.
That's perfect. It actually helps me answer. So if you missed out on something either during the presentation, maybe because I talked too fast or because it was just going too fast in general, or you want to rewatch it, you can always go back to that same link here, the one that I posted at the very start, at the very beginning. I'm actually going to post it again because why not? I have it right here. Make an announcement, copy, send. And on that page, what you're going to see is this. So this is that page. And you can see here I have these different links. And I can just, if I need to or if I want to, I can just click on these links and I can actually see the recording from past sessions. So there is no worries. Of course, the difference being that you're not going to be able to see them live, but that shouldn't be too much of an issue. If Vince does have the time to watch the video today, then of course, if Vince has any question, can come back tomorrow to ask those questions.
So that's it, no more. Oh, yes, I have one. When parents send an email, can they remove what they wrote?
Right. This is a bit above the scope of what we're trying to do today. And it's also, I'm not quite sure what the actual question is. So
the person made a correction. Will it remain in my portal?
Right. When the parents, they send you an email, they send you an email regularly, either through their Gmail or from their Outlook or from their Videotron. They get an email from whatever place. They really do send an email normally. To them, it is completely transparent that you sent them in the initial email through Mozaïk-Portal, which means that when you go to look at your answers, and once again, to look at the answers, you do have to go in Office 365. The same mechanics as usual take place. So in a regular email, there is no way for you to, take back an email that you sent someone and modify it in a way that they're not going to notice. There is no way for you to do so. When you use the email function, it really is an email. So regularly, if I do understand that question properly, the parents normally they would never be able to do that. Go into your inbox and modify emails. Well, they're not going to be able to do that in Mozaïk Portal either. I just want to clarify once again, because the question did include something about emails in Mozaïk Portal. There are no, if you want to manage your emails, it is in Outlook directly. You can only send emails from Mozaïk Portal.
And no more question, Hubert.
Beautiful. It's actually quite a good timing here. It's 9:46. We do have another activity at 10 a.m. and I don't want to hold back anyone that would like to join that activity. So I'm just going to do the end of my presentation here. If you do have any more questions, of course, you can always write them and come back tomorrow at 9 a.m. At 9 a.m. we will answer these questions that we did not have the time to answer thus far. Things to remember. So in short, if you just got here or if you missed part of the presentation, what you need to remember is emails, you can have attachments, but there's a maximum of 34 megabytes. Once again, if you don't know what that is, PDFs, PowerPoints, documents, Word documents, they're going to work just fine most of the time. Once again, perhaps not if there's a ton of images inside, but that's something else. But they're going to work, 99% of the time, so you don't have to worry about that. There is a maximum of 500 email addresses, which means that if you have 400 students, that means 1,200 addresses, because there is 400 students, which means 800 parents, which means 1,200 email addresses. So you're going to need to split them and send three different messages. There is a limit of 500 email addresses. Publication at this time, make sure that it's a general lighthearted message. It's not meant to do any official or urgent business at this time, or any official urgent messages at this time. Make sure it's only once again a PSA. So don't forget during this month of November or this month of December we have this and that. Or once again, I did encourage you to regularly go on the portal and send messages to the parents, just so that they'll be eager to connect, so that they won't, because otherwise, if every time they connect there is nothing new, they're just going to lose interest and they're going to lose the habit of connecting. So if you want to, perhaps I would suggest you to, at the start of your week or at the end of your week, just either write a post on what you're planning to do or a recap of the week. A lot of parents are going to be interested. I was a teacher for 1 year, so not as long as most of you, but I do know that at least where I was, the parents, they did appreciate those sort of cute, short messages. So if you want to keep them interested in the portal, perhaps a weekly message might be a good idea here, which of course is up to you. There you go. Nothing more to say here. Any questions? We're going to skip right over that. We do have a couple more information to give you here. I want to be able to copy that email address as an announcement in the Q&R section of Teams Live event. There we go. This link I already have shared with you. This is a link from before. The Facebook group. We do have a Facebook group which is actually managed by people from the products department, the people that control that, actually not control, but they decide where Mozaïk Portal is headed. So these people, they manage the Facebook group, so feel free to go there, ask questions. They might not answer directly. Sometimes you have a colleague from another school board that will answer you instead, but you do get a nice community here and some answers, some questions, some suggestions. Everything can be here. Make sure you do join that group if you want to. The group is in French. Officially, I guess the title's in French, but if you ask questions in English, there's no worries. You should feel free to do so. Capsules. Capsules, if you are a teacher. I actually did not mention this at the start, but hopefully most of the people here are teachers, either teachers in youth sector or adult sector. But this is mostly for teachers. actually, emails and posts are for everyone. Right, they're for everyone. Apologies. But if you're a teacher, that is only available for teacher. If you're a teacher, at the top right, there is a button here, which is video capsules. If you click on that, it's going to open a tab and gets you straight to the playlist of Mozaïk-Portal capsules. There are currently 33 videos, and all of them, they have a specific subject. They're about 1 minute to 2 minutes long. And if you need any help for creating a seating plan, you have this video right here. You need any help for consulting the portrait of the group, for the OIM, for the post history, for posting a message, any help for introduction to the evaluation tools. You need any help for anything, there's probably a video for that on here. Make sure you look at that list. Once again, if you're on your teacher portal, you have that right here, top right corner. And the very last slide for you today, or actually, just before I leave that on the screen, of course, thank you for being here. Stay safe. Do follow the consignes. Do make sure that you stay safe. That's a long story short. I'm going to leave that one on the screen until the end of the presentation. Well, actually, I'm going to show you what it is. So there is a demo environment. If you want to look at the portal from another point of view, let's say you're a teacher, you want to see what does the principal see, what does a student see. You can always go on that link here. So mozaicportal.ca it's actually the exact same link that you use, or same address that you use to connect yourself. But instead of connecting with your own email address, you're going to simply connect with this email address, mozaicportal@servicegrics.ca. Mozaïk-Portal, there is an I here, which is very important in this case. And then a password, which is mosaic with 2 exclamation marks. Once you do that, I'm going to come back to that slide in a few seconds. Once you do that, it opens the demo account, and this here is a demo account. I have a French teacher, I have a high school student, I have a GA center, I have homeroom teacher, I do have a principal here as well. So if you want to look at any of these, you just click demo, and you can see the demo here. Of course, this might be a bit different than what they see in your organization. This is, of course, a demo account, so these activities, they're going to be different from your organizations, as an example, but still, it at least gives you a good idea of what the student portal looks like and how it handles. All right. 9:53. I see that we have no new questions at this time. Would there be, Diane, is there something that you would like to add?
No, except have a good day, everybody. Thank you very much.
Excellent. Thank you so much, Jen. Thank you for being here, everyone. Of course, I do hope you have a very good day. Take a screenshot of that. I can see that Jen also sent it in the announcements. Make sure you do visit the demo accounts if that interests you. Otherwise, I might be seeing some of you at, I believe it's 2 p.m. today for the resources workshop. And there is, in 7 minutes, a workshop for the planning with my colleague, François Gauvin. So make sure you go there if that interests you. Once again, thank you so very much and have a great day.